Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Assistant Administrator, welcome. It's good to have you back. Just personally, just you as an individual, don't you believe that having a good paying job with health benefits is also protective of human health?
I think it's important for everybody to have a job and
healthcare benefits
yes,
of some sort.
Of course I do.
And that's part of our, I mean, when you hear the questions and the responses back and forth, that's kind of part of our challenge is, especially as I follow up on this question, is that you all as an EPA don't really have the authority to evaluate that with respect to your primary mission, which is protective of human health via the air regulations, right? I mean, you just can't weigh in. You're not making those cost-benefit analysis. We say we are already to some extent, but they're so far down the decision tree that many of us believe that they just don't happen. So let me go to another question based upon a comment you made, because a lot of this is 75 parts per billion in 2008. Many states have not met those yet, but now we're ratcheting down even more, and there's a lot of uncertainty. Now that'll move on to my third question once I get there. But in your response, you talked about background is different in different areas. So are you considering a different regulation standard based upon the variance of background? So could one area of the country have a 70 parts per billion and another one have a 65 parts per billion? Well, and answer the question. I can follow up.
Sure. Well, the standard is supposed to reflect what is safe for people to breathe. And so a child living in Florida and a child living in Oregon should be entitled to the...
But background is background. Background is there without, in essence, human contact.
That's right, and that comes into play when states are putting their plans together, and EPA is working with states to figure out how much time and what needs to be done in order to reach those standards, so that areas that have more challenges...
But you can't. But if an area has 70 parts per billion background, you can't get them to 65.
But
through the power of government.
But there are two very important elements to the standard. One is for the people who live in that area to know whether the air that they're breathing is healthy or not. So
they should move. Is that the answer? Get out of that 70 parts per billion area because it's not healthy.
No, but they should know that when the air quality is bad, that they might want to...
What should they do? It's naturally occurring. That's the background.
Right, but understand too that ozone changes from day to day, and there.
So they should take a vacation during those days. You see our problem. I think in rolling this out, I would hope that background's important. Background should be a standard. We should not try to have government force something that's not naturally occurring based upon nature without man's intervention.
If I could clarify a point on the background, because I think it may be people may be thinking that this is pervasive. In fact, across the country, most of the ozone that is contributing to high values is locally or regionally created. There are very few areas, very few parts of this country where background can get as high as approaching the levels.
Okay, but you understand our concern, even if it's very low possibility. Anyway, so I want to move on to the last question. We just finished our congressional baseball game last night. We lost again. But it makes me think about what Chairman Whitfield was addressing. Had we started the game and then halfway through the game the strike zone changed, or in the second inning the number of outs changed, or the fourth inning the foul lines changed, or the outfield walls got moved in, that would make for a very frustrating, impossible game. Don't you would agree?
But this is about, ozone is not about rules, it's about science.
This is about utility MAC, boiler MAC, cement rule, cross-site air pollution, 111D, 111B, ozone, different standards, particulate matter, Tier 3. We're changing the rules on the fly, and the people who are creating jobs in this country cannot manage it. And that's our problem with what's going on with the EPA. And I yield back my time.